Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jasmine McCoy and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for clicking in to drop by. But if you are a returner, it is always nice to have you back. I am in the process of making sure that everything looks okay over here on the computer because I'm doing this on my own. I don't have anyone kind of like doing the technology portion, so that's me. So, hi, I can see that there are 5 people watching right now, and okay. Oh, okay, there is someone using the chat because I was just trying to make sure, is the chat active? Michaela Rains said hello. Hi, Michaela. It's very good to see you, especially since you are the one that made all of this happen. Literally, the entire reason why I'm doing this is because probably a week ago, I crossed 5,000 followers on my Instagram. And that was something that I was very excited about because never did I think I would be able to get up to 5,000. It's one of those milestones that not many people have, but here I am with 5,000. Obviously, I know that there's people out there with 10,000, 100,000, a million followers, but I still wanted to be excited and celebrate my 5,000. And when I asked, what should I do to celebrate reaching 5,000 subscribers? Michaela Rains, one of my 5,000 followers on Instagram, suggested, why don't you do a YouTube live stream or a Instagram live? And I thought, let's try to do it on YouTube and see how that goes. So this is my first YouTube live stream. And thank you, all of you, for being here to be a part of this moment in my YouTubing content creation journey. It is one that I never really thought that I would be in this position when I started making my YouTube videos, because when I started making them, not many people would watch, had 0 subscribers, but obviously that's where you start. You start off at 0 subscribers, 0 watchers, 0 likes. But here I am now with 5,000 followers on Instagram, 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and that one is literally recent as of probably 6 hours ago. I now have 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And now I have a little community of people who love watching my videos and interacting with me. So thank you very much for being right here with me tonight. Now, this is my first live stream. It is going to be a Q&A type format. And I just want to make sure, obviously, I'm guessing everyone can hear me, because if you didn't hear me, you'd probably be saying something in the chat right now. But when I said that I would be doing this Q&A live stream, I opened up my Instagram story to receiving questions from people. And I do have those questions right here in front of me now. I'm going to answer them in the order they arrived in, but if we have time at the end, if you would like to ask a question using the chat, you most certainly can. Okay. And I'm looking down because I have my notes here on my iPad. So, my first question came from someone who is very, 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 very important to me. She is literally my best friend in the entire world, and that is my sister, Jayla McCoy. She said, what's Chicago like? And that is something that my family has moved a lot. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. Then we moved to Richmond, Virginia, where my sister was born. Then we moved back to Arkansas, but to a different city, Jonesboro. Then we moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to Charlotte, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky, and now we lived, because I don't live in Cleveland anymore. My family lives in Cleveland, Ohio. So we moved quite a bit. I don't think that, well, at least when we move, it's never something that we are very conscious of when thinking about the new city. The new city, it's just the new city. It's wherever it is that my dad's job takes him. But I am so happy that now in this position, because Jasmine, why did you move to Chicago? I moved to Chicago purely for my own reasons, because I will be attending medical school at Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine. So obviously, you gotta apply to medical school. You pick places from all over the United States, maybe all over the world if you want to apply internationally. Now, that was not me. I applied domestically. So you pick all of these different names, all these different programs, all these different cities, and depending on where you get let in, that can decide where you spend the next 4 years. I am so happy that I picked Chicago. Chicago is an amazing city. Obviously, I haven't been here for very long. I've been in Chicago for a month and a day. And in that 1 month and 1 day, I've been able to experience so much. Literally, if you watch my YouTube videos, you will see all of the things that I've been able to do with the school, with my free time. I am able to do quite a bit because this is the third largest city in the United States. Crazy. And I like living in Chicago for many of the things that it offers because, one, food. We were joking when my family was here this past weekend because we did have white coat. That was another very exciting thing that has happened since moving to Chicago, but I'll show you the coat later. So we're here living in Chicago, we're driving around, and my grandma says, well, you'll always have something to do if you're ever bored, you could always eat. And we all burst out laughing because there is literally, every block has 3 or 4 restaurants to it, which I appreciate because I like food. But I also love the fact that there's different sporting events that I could go to if I wanted to. Not really the biggest fan of baseball, but I do like basketball. So I would love to go and see the basketball team play. And then there's also the fact that here in Chicago, you know that you will always be a stop on whatever pop star, rock star, rapper that you want to listen to. When they have a tour, they will always come to Chicago. So I was able to see Beyonce in concert. And literally, she was here for 2 days. So if you weren't available on the 21st, you could go and see her on the 22nd. But we went with my family, it was very fun. Being able to live in a city that has that kind of pull, that has that kind of influence in the United States, amazing. So I really like living in Chicago. I hope I answered your question, Jayla. Another question, again, from Jayla. How different is Chicago from Boston? They are 2 very different places. And I feel like that is in part because I am at 2 very different places in my life, living in Chicago versus living in Boston. When I was living in Boston, I was an undergrad. I was at Harvard University, pre-med, molecular and cellular biology. I was a cheerleader. I was a peer advising fellow, a tutor. There were so many things in my life that I was doing at that time. I was also, this is another big difference, I was living in a dorm. Now that I am living here in Chicago, I am a graduate student, but not just any graduate student, I am a medical student. They do not have dorms for medical students. It turns out they actually did at one point, 50 or 60 years in the past, they used to have dorms for medical students. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to get rid of them. So a little salty about that, but it's okay. So that was one of the differences. I am living in an apartment here, not a dorm, an apartment. I have rent now. Yay, not yay, but it's okay because it is a part of growing up, it's a part of becoming adult, and it marks that I'm moving on into this next chapter of my life, which is one that I have been actively working towards for literally decades, because I've known I wanted to be a doctor since I was a child. To be in this position of now having to pay rent, because I am a medical student. It's not the most exciting part of the journey, but it is a part of the journey nonetheless. And then also, one of the similarities is that it's another move. Like I said, I've moved 7 times. So knowing how to move, knowing what that feeling is of having to say, hi, my name is Jasmine. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I went to Harvard University where I studied biology, and one of the things that I like to do is I like watching movies and TV shows. That is something super easy for me because I've done it 7 times. But in the same way, I'm moving yet again to another city all on my own. Moving to Harvard was a lot more difficult than moving here to Chicago, because when I was moving to Harvard for the first time, the only time, when I was moving to Harvard for my undergraduate experience, that was my first time moving on my own, moving solo. Obviously, my family helped me get there, helped me get all my stuff into the dorms, but I was on my own afterwards. And if you talk to anyone who has ever moved multiple times, you should know that moving is not just the act of getting all of your boxes into the dorm, the apartment, the house. It is at least for me, a months-long experience of learning where everything is, making new friends, building your network in a place that you currently do not call home, but are working on calling home. So moving here to Chicago, I already had some of those experiences in my back pocket. Another thing that made moving here to Chicago so much easier was the fact that I participated in a pre-matriculation program. Now that pre-matriculation program was for people who are underrepresented in medicine. Maybe you are a woman. Women are underrepresented in medicine. Maybe you are a ethnic or racial minority. You could be Black, like me. Maybe you come from a low socioeconomic status. Becoming a doctor takes a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, then that can be something that deters you from pursuing your education in medicine. So we had the pre-matriculation program, which invites underrepresented students in our medical school class to come 3.5 weeks early. And what we did is we were introduced to the campus community, the faculty, older medical students who were able to show us, hey, I used to be where you're getting ready to go. I'm an M2, you're an M1. Let me give you some tips and tricks, that way your first year goes better, because I want to see you succeed. So that's what I took part in, and I feel like that helped me quite a bit, not just in the obvious ways of building a network, teaching me study strategies, familiarizing me with the campus layout, but I actually was able to get a lot of very close friends in those 3.5 weeks before medical school started. Not to say that I'm not going to continue making friends, because I literally have 4 more years here with 150 medical students in my class. But getting 3.5 weeks with 16 people was very beneficial. And turning my iPad back on, this one comes from another person very, very special to me, my mom. How does it feel to be in a sorority with your sister and your mom? Okay. It feels awesome being in a sorority with both my mom and my sister. For those of you that don't know, if you have not been able to guess, with the pink and the green, I am in Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And that is a very important part of who I am, because literally even before I was born, my mom knew that I was going to be an AKA. As soon as she knew that I was a girl, she was already planning and just putting it out into the universe that I would be an AKA, which is exactly what happened. I'm an AKA. And obviously, the same thing happened to my sister. But that is not something that would be happening until we got to college. Being in the sorority now, when I was younger, it was always mom's sorority, mom's sorority, mom's sorority. Now, it's my sorority. And it used to be my mom's chapter, my mom's chapter, my mom's chapter. When we were living in Cleveland, Ohio, she was part of the Alpha Omega chapter. But eventually, that became my chapter. And these are the kinds of experiences that I like to be able to share with them because we're able to do so many things together. We're able to go to regional conferences together, to clusters together, to Boulé together. When I became the international second vice president of Alpha Kappa Alpha, I was ecstatic. But what was even more special to me was being able to go to my sister's initiation. Yes, I was the international second vice president at the time. Yes, my mom was proud to have her two legacies with her, but it was just important for us to be able to share those kinds of moments together where now the circle is complete. And that's just how I feel. I absolutely love being an AKA, my sister being an AKA, and my mom being an AKA. Next question, also from my mom. What's been the most surprising part of being a YouTube influencer? Okay, me being an influencer, I like that. Oh, also, Kimberly Davis Harris, you said hello. Hi, good to see you. Thank you for coming. I would say one of the most surprising parts of being a YouTube influencer has to be the comments. So when I release a video out into the wild, people watch. But sometimes people feel so compelled by what it is that I've created that they will say something in the comments. Typically those comments are positive. I love seeing those. Obviously sometimes you get a negative one, but that's the world, that's life. When that happens, you just click delete, hide, block, let them go on with their lives. So the exciting parts are when I get to read positive comments of, thank you so much for sharing this about your application process to medical school. This is something that's so useful to me. Would you make a video about tips and tricks you used for your secondary applications and interviews? I did exactly that. I was able to give that specifically requested content to one of my 2,000 subscribers. So if you ever think that I don't read my comments, you are wrong. I do read my comments. I do answer most questions because some of them I just don't know. One time someone asked for a list of all the vendors that were at a specific event that I went to, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not on the planning committee. I don't do that. But I do like watching and reading all of the comments that come with my YouTube videos. I also had another person, another subscriber, say literally probably 3-ish months ago that they were in the process of applying to nursing school. 2 days ago, that person left another comment on one of my videos saying that they got accepted to nursing school. And I just felt very excited knowing that somewhere in my content about medical school applications, they were able to use that and help them getting into nursing school. So those are the surprising positive things that I like to see as an influencer. Now, we have some more questions. The Black Pearl, greetings and salutations from Orlando. Congratulations on 2,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, The Black Pearl. I am feeling very good. I have been watching my subscriber count literally all day, trying to make sure that I get and catch when it goes to 2,000, because I remember when I got my first 100, I missed my subscriber count ticking over 100. By the time that I came back, it said 101, and I was like, ah, darn. So I wasn't able to get, no, maybe it said 102. Well, whatever it was, my first milestone celebration video that I have on my YouTube channel, it says 102, I believe, because I missed getting a picture of the 100. But I made sure I did get a picture of the 2000 this time. And the next question, as I said we were going to, did you ever consider attending an HBCU? I actually did not consider attending an HBCU. And that is because my supreme goal when I was going and planning where it was that I wanted to apply, my mom tells me she remembers that for the longest time I have always said I wanted to go to Harvard. I cannot remember the exact reasoning for how Harvard wormed its way into my mind, but Harvard was always my goal. Harvard was always where I wanted to go. And from middle school, I remember saying that I wanted to go to Harvard. Obviously, it's easy to say those kinds of things and not know what work it truly takes to make that happen. So it took a while for me to get an understanding of how that would mean I would have to structure my life, of the accomplishments that I would want to have. Maybe having to take AP classes instead of taking regular studies classes, being in extracurriculars and excelling at them, creating the African American Culture Club. These are all things that I did in order to make that dream of going to Harvard a reality. So that is the answer to the question. And that question came from Rock with Vic. Thank you very much, Rock with Vic. You also have another question that you were asking. Do you miss cheerleading? For those of you that don't know, I am someone who has been a cheerleader for a very long time, but that is something that stopped because of the pandemic. So I started cheerleading when I was in middle school, in the 6th grade. And with that, it partially helped, well, definitely helped, that I had been a gymnast when I was younger. But somehow I transitioned from gymnastics to cheerleading, and I absolutely loved it. When it comes to cheerleading, I was someone who is not, I'm not going to be the person you lift up in the air, but I'm a person doing the lifting, getting the smaller people on our team up into the air, throwing them, catching them, which is a very important part. You want to be able to throw them high, but you also want to make sure that you can catch them safely. And then also tumbling. I love tumbling. So when you see a little girl going all the way across the field, flipping, those were the kinds of things that I did and that I really loved. And I did that through middle school. I did that through high school. I did that through part of college. And by the time that I was in college, yes, some people are confused when I say, yeah, we got a cheerleading team. They're also confused that we have a football team, but our cheerleading team is much, much better than our football team. By the time that we had the last NCAA tournament for cheerleading the year before COVID, so in 2019, the Harvard cheerleading team was ranked 7th in the nation in the small co-ed division. So we were extremely good. I do miss certain elements of cheerleading. The element that I miss most of cheerleading is the competition. I personally am fine without the football games and the basketball. I'll say that I'm fine without the football games because I don't like being outside that much. When it's hot or when it's cold, that's when football season is not fun. Basketball season, you're inside. I like that. The game is quicker and it's more engaging, at least to me. But my favorite part of being a cheerleader was always our tournaments, our competitions. We would all get into a bus or cars, we would travel 2 or 3 hours away. We would have 5 minutes on this mat to practice full out. Then we would have 2 minutes on the long tumbling mats to practice tumbling. And that was just something that was high energy, high stakes, before you have 3.5 minutes to lay it all out on the mat. You do your tumbling, you do the stunts, you do your jumps, you do the dance portion. That is something that gets me going. And that is something that I honestly do miss about cheerleading. That was a good question. Thank you very much, Rock with Vic, for that question. And now, the final question that we have from because remember, all of these questions came from my Instagram followers. The final question that we have from my Instagram followers, which also happens to come from the person who made all of this happen, who made this live stream a possibility, Michaela Rains. How do you feel as your fan base grows? The first thing that I feel as my fan base grows is I obviously feel blessed, because I know that you could be spending your time doing so many other things. That's just the truth of the matter. You could be watching someone who has millions more followers than me. You could be doing your homework. You could be watching a movie, but yet here you are with me. That is a blessing, and I'm thankful to you, all 16 of you. I'm thankful to all 16 of you that are here now, taking time out of your busy days to watch me. And it also is just very humbling, because I remember days back in 2020, July 2020, when I first created my YouTube channel. I remember when I would get excited if one person watched my video. And I still get excited when one person watches my videos, because I know I've come a long way. I remember when I announced to my family, guys, I think I want to make a YouTube channel. And them bolstering me up, hyping me up, saying, yeah, Jasmine, you can do it. I create the YouTube channel, and I've got 4 followers. Myself, my sister, my mom, my dad. That's where I started off. And now, here I am with 2,000. That means that there are 1,996 of you, not in my immediate family, who decided, I like this girl. I want to subscribe to her. There's also, because not everyone who watches your videos, not everyone who is subscribed to you, not everyone who watches your videos is a subscriber. So even beyond those 1,996 people I mentioned, there's other people who have watched my content, enjoyed it, given it likes, that aren't subscribed, but they still gave some part of their valuable time to be with me and watch my content. So it's humbling, it's a blessing, and it reminds me to always celebrate every step of the journey. Like I said, I was excited when there were days where I was getting 1 view a day. There were times where I would be excited just to get 10 views on a video. Now, I can put a video out and it gets 500 views, and I'm excited for that because I know that it's showing growth. And as of right now, those are all the questions that I have from my from my Instagram subscribers. Since that is done, we can either do one of 2 things. We can either do some question and answer from the live chat, or I can show you all my white coat and my my medical school materials. So, out of the 16 people watching, would you rather see the white coat, or would you rather do some Q&A using the chat? Okay, I guess some of you are still thinking about which one you would rather do. Michaela Rains asked a question. She asked, would you give your subscriber community a name? If so, what would we be called? I would like to give my subscriber community a name. That would be really fun. that's something I'm going to have to think about unless you have a suggestion, because I would love any suggestion that my subscribers give on what it is that they would like to be called. If I'm going to name you all, I want you all to like your names. But it is something that I would like to do. I would hope that it would have a J in it, and that, oh, the Jazzies. I like that. I like that one. That's a good one, Michaela. I would like it to have a J in it somehow, or I would want it to be somehow medical related, but there aren't very many good medical words that start with J. Like the only medical word I can think that starts with J is jaundice. Jaundice is not good. You don't want jaundice. My mom put the 100, 100s for the Jazzies. I do like that. Since none of you said anything about which one you would rather have, Jazz's Jewels. Okay, Zenobia Frazier, Jazz's Jewels. I like that one. I like that one. Can I give a hearts out? I don't know if I can give hearts out. I don't think that I can give hearts out, or maybe I can. Okay, I just gave a couple of hearts and 100s to Jazzy's and Jazz's Jewels. I like those. Maybe I'll do a Instagram poll to see which one you all want to be called, but I like those two ideas. Okay, we're going to take a break from the questions, and I'm going to show you all my white coat and my medical materials. You all are going to freak out on this. 1 second. Okay, so this is my white coat. Oh my god, do you all see this? This is my white coat from medical school because I am a medical student at Northwestern University Feinberg School of Medicine. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, as you all can tell, I'm still very excited. I've had this for a day and a half-ish now, and every time I look at it, I still get excited. Like, Jasmine, you did that. You did all the things required of you to get into medical school. Like, you are going to be a doctor. This, for those of you that don't know, because in my post that I've made on Instagram, which if you're not following me on Instagram, you certainly should. It is peridot as in the birthstone gem for August, PERIDOT _ JEM, the initials of my name. Some of you didn't know and had some questions about the whole white coat thing, so here we have the white coat. It is short. It is not long, as you all can see. So medical students get short white coats. When you finish, when you become a doctor, when you have your MD, you get a long white coat. But you still get a coat as a medical student to signify that you are in the journey of becoming a doctor, a physician. So here we have my white coat. I'm going to put this down gently. And then we also have some medical materials. So these were paid for by our Alumni Association. Very exciting. Very thankful to know that our Alumni Association is willing to reach a hand back out to help and support the younger generation of physicians. So in this, we've got a little reading card. The reading card You're obviously trying to get as low down as you can to see how good your vision is. We have tons of those at the Retina Associates of Cleveland, where I used to work. A bunch of other just little tools in here that I will be using eventually, but not for now. But the pride and joy. A stethoscope. I have my own stethoscope. And it's not just any stethoscope. It's not one that just anyone can pick up. It is a stethoscope that says Jasmine McCoy on it. Hopefully you all can see that. Jasmine McCoy. So, all of these were given out to everyone in the class, and they come with, the customization of your name. The first thing that everyone did was they opened it to check and make sure that their name was spelled correctly. So, that is my materials for medical school that I will be using to conduct different exams, to check and see how people are doing, and make treatment plans for how it is that we should best move forward. Okay, someone outside is revving their car engine. I hope that it's a nice car, otherwise I would be mad. Okay, so we have roughly 25 more minutes of time that I personally have set aside for this live stream. So I am now going to open it up to the members of the chat, the 15 of you. If you have any other questions that you would like to ask me, I am all yours. Any other cities you would want to live in the future? Yes. There are so many cities that I would love to live in the future. So, I am a Southern girl from the very bottom of my heart. Obviously, the South has a bunch of great things. Our food being one of those things. Our weather, for the most part, being another one of those things. But I don't like bugs. I don't like hurricanes, and I also don't like alligators. So if I move to the South, I would like for it to be in Texas, specifically Dallas or Houston. I was able to visit Houston because of a regional conference for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the South Central region. And then when it comes to Dallas, I just think that is pretty cool. I've seen pictures of it online. I've seen people take trips to Dallas, and it's something that appeals to me. If I were to move internationally, I would go back to Italy. I loved Italy. Do I speak Italian? No, I do not speak Italian at all. I speak Spanish. But if I had to pick a city in Spain to move to, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I feel like part of that has to do with the fact that, I did spend an entire summer in Italy, whereas when it comes to Spain, I was only there for 10 days, and it was all over. So things were moving fast, furious, and I don't really remember. But another place in the United States that I would consider living, you know what? When my sister went to Redondo Beach, California for this past summer, she was living the time of her life. I would be at work or doing something for medical school pre-matriculation, and I would look at my phone, look at Jayla's live stream. Not her live stream, her story on Instagram. She'd be at some beach. She'd be at a restaurant. She'd be at a pier. And it's like, I want that life. So I would move to Redondo Beach, Los Angeles, California, because at least for my sister, she was having the time of her life, and I want that for myself. But obviously, I'm going to try to replicate that here in Chicago, living my best life. Another question. Oh, Mr. Murray. No problem being late. Thank you very much for coming and being a part of my first live stream. And thank you on, getting into medical school. Thank you very much for your kind words. Are there, oh, also, to explain, because Mr. Murray, you just got in, I have answered some questions that I got from my Instagram followers, and now I've opened it up to the people here, my YouTube subscribers, to see if they have any questions. So if you have questions, you can just use the chat like you did earlier, and I will answer them. Okay. What is your question, Mr. Murray? It says, being a public figure in your sorority, which frat hits on you the most? Which fraternity slides into my DMs the most? The answer is none of them. Ooh-wee, that's a little sad, just a little bit sad. But I don't have any fraternity members sliding into my DMs. I just don't. I don't know what it is, but none of the alphas, none of the noops, none of the omegas, none of the sigmas, none of the iotas. My DMs they just out there. If anything, the people who slide into my DMs are mostly women, and they are mostly women, I should have worded it that way. The people who are making comments in my DMs, not sliding into my DMs in the romantic sense, but the people who are making comments in my DMs are typically people who are congratulating me on what it is that they see in my story, people who follow me on YouTube and want to say, I liked your videos, or sometimes it's someone that I literally don't even know saying, because I had someone say, I have been binge watching your YouTube videos for the last 2 weeks. I love your content. I'm getting ready to go to college. Would you mentor me? Like, those are the kinds of things that I get into in my DMs on Instagram. So yeah, Mr. Murray said gasping. Exactly. But it is okay. I definitely feel like the pandemic probably had something to do with it, because a bunch of studies have come out talking about how the pandemic talking about how the pandemic decreased the romantic activities of people, because it's like, you're home, you don't want to be going out with someone who you might not know what it is they've been doing, if they're vaccinated, blah blah blah. So yeah, there we go. That's the answer to that question. Any other questions from any of the 17? Awesome. And from these 17 people watching right now. Michaela Rains, do you have any secret talents other than obviously being intelligent and a great Alpha Kappa Alpha woman? Thank you very much. You are also another great Alpha Kappa Alpha woman because I literally see you at everything. So obviously to be going to all of the events that we have gone to together, you must be an amazing, dedicated Alpha Kappa Alpha woman. I do have some secret talents. One of those, and that comes from being a nerd, is that I am just a wealth of knowledge and information and useless factoids about Star Wars. Um, when I was 10 or 11, I think, I begged my parents for a Star Wars encyclopedia. That encyclopedia was probably this thick, probably 400, 500 pages, and I just wanted it because I love Star Wars that much. So I got it for my birthday. I'm flipping through this Star Wars encyclopedia, and it was an encyclopedia of characters, of intergalactic species, as well as droids and mechas. And I probably read that encyclopedia backwards, forwards, 4 or 5 times. So I love Star Wars. I absolutely love and appreciate my parents for bending to my will and getting me that Star Wars encyclopedia. And that is something that is just a part of me, a secret talent that I have. Oh, I see Sonia Reeves put out a bunch of emojis. Do you like Star Wars too, Sonia? I'm gonna get a sip of water right now. Okay, so a different Sonia, Sonia Eartham. Yes, I think it's Sonia Eartham. Are you going to run for president of your class in medical school? That is something that I'm considering. It's something that I've definitely thought about, considering, I mean, I have been the international second vice president of an organization with 300,000 members worldwide. I was the third highest out of 300,000. When it comes to my class in medical school, that's just 150. How hard can that really be? But at the same time, I need to know more information about the position and the responsibilities, the duties, the expectations that come with it. So the answer I'm going to give right now is I'm thinking about it. I am heavily considering it. And I am now in the process of finding out more information. So if I were to become, or if I were to run for class president, I would have an idea of what it is that I'm getting myself into. And have you seen, Sonia Eartham said, you would win as president. Thank you very much, Sonia. I really appreciate your vote of confidence, and if you were able to vote in our class president elections, I would love to see you there. Vote for Jasmine. Have you seen any good movies lately? That question comes from T. Riddick. You all know I love me a good movie. So, the most recent movies that I saw were Barbie and Oppenheimer. I decided on a day when we finished our pre-matriculation studies early, I got up and I said, I'm going to see Barbenheimer. I went to the AAMC, that is a 5-minute walk from class. I paid for my 2 matinee tickets, 30% off, we like that. I got myself a medium popcorn, and I sat in the movie theaters for 6 hours. It was the best experience of my life. So we started with Oppenheimer. I love Cillian Murphy. I enjoy most of what Christopher Nolan puts out because the last Christopher Nolan movie that I remember seeing was Tenet, and it was a good movie. It was just hard for me to follow. Like there was a 5-minute part where I went, Like I experienced the movie, but I know I missed something. I know I missed something in the movie Tenet. But when it comes to Oppenheimer, beautiful, excellent. The amount of also other famous people that were in there, like I'm going, oh my God, that's Josh Peck. Oh my God, that's Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Oh my God, that's Mr. Robot. Oh my God, that's the May Queen, the May Queen from Midsummer. So I loved Oppenheimer, but obviously it also is about a very dark part of not just American history, but human history, wherein we're displaying like we are very smart creatures, but we use our genius in very negative ways to exact pain on other people. So, Oppenheimer, great, but an emotionally draining movie. And then Barbie. I loved Barbie. So, I'm someone who did play with Barbies. I played with black Barbies exclusively because that is all that my mother would buy for me. She wanted to make sure that my sister and I grew up seeing ourselves in the toys that we were playing with. So I can have a black Barbie that's a doctor. I can have a black Barbie that's a chef. But whatever it is she's gonna be black. Blackity black, black, black. So to see Issa Rae as President Barbie is like, yes, go off, President Barbie. And Barbie also surprisingly was a little bit sad. Like I was in the movie theater tearing up when the mom character, I can't remember what she was talking about, but when the mom character is talking about how difficult it is to exist in the box that is womanhood. And I was like, dang, she's speaking it. It really do be like that sometimes. Being a woman is awesome, but there's also a lot of challenges to it. And then also being able to just see Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig is the director of Barbie. I love Greta Gerwig. I love her movies. I love Lady Bird. But I think Barbie unseated Lady Bird as my favorite Greta Gerwig movie. And then the fact that Barbie grossed $1 billion in the box office. I'm very proud of Greta Gerwig, of Margot Robbie, and everyone that was a part of making that movie as successful as it was. So yes, those are 2 suggestions for awesome movies that you should definitely see if you haven't already. Zenobia Frazier. How do you plan to merge your new role as a medical student and your high demands as a speaker at Alpha Kappa Alpha events? That is something that I actually have already had to start doing. Literally this past weekend. Literally this past week or weekend, one of those things. I was asked to speak at a undergraduate initiation, I think. I was asked to speak at something for some undergraduates, and I had to say, can't do it. I'm in my intro to the profession orientation week. I am a medical student, and I have events that I want to be able to go to with my new class of medical student colleagues. So I said no, but I also made myself available, saying that I am available on other weekends, or I'm also available on Thursday and Friday after like 5 p.m. So those are the things that I say no, but, because I don't just want it to be a flat no, because like you said, I do have a very high request frequency for serving as speaker of things, but also at the same time, school comes first. I was international second vice president for 2 years, and I said yes to 99.9% of everything. And even then, if I wasn't able to be at something immediately, I would say no, but. So I'm still saying no, but. It's just that more of my schedule is going to be taken up by medical school. And for those of you that didn't know, within AKA world, I am still serving at the international level. But Jasmine, you're not international second vice president anymore. That is correct. I am serving on one of our international committees. The committee I'm a part of is the International Former Board of Directors Committee. We had a committee meeting this week, and I told them I'm not going to be there because this is my first week of medical school. They said, "It's okay, Jasmine, we're proud of you, do your thing." And that is something that I appreciate because they have an understanding that I'm trying to do medical school. That's not just something, that's not a walk in the park. So they're understanding of that, and I appreciate that. And you said Zenobia Frazier. I love it. Yes. I'm always going to be a part of AKA. It's just that my involvement in AKA is never going to be the same way it was when I was the international second vice president. When I was international second vice president, it was AKA first, except for the 3.5 months that I took, 4 months, that I took the study for the MCAT. Then my MCAT studying was my priority. Now, as a medical student, my priority is medical school, and AKA can take that second place spot. Do we have any other questions? Because we have 4 minutes left of this live stream. Is there anyone that wants to ask the final question? Mr. Murray, Greek question. Alpha Kappa Alpha and Kappa Alpha Psi are known for a certain image and style. Do you feel those two Greek orgs have gotten too hood in character and dress? Well, I can really only speak for Alpha Kappa Alpha because I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and also these are not my thoughts are my own. I'm not the international second vice president. I'm not a spokesperson for the sorority anymore. I would say that it's just dressing as a whole that is changing, and especially given the fact that you have social media. So with social media, you can have something like Greek shenanigans. You can have all those kinds of social media platforms that get their rise, get their following from people not necessarily acting in the most positive of ways. I personally feel like that is something that is just people capitalizing off of the small parts and making them bigger than what they actually are. Because when I go to regional conference, when I go to the Boulé for Alpha Kappa Alpha, because I can only speak for Alpha Kappa Alpha as a member, when I go to the events that I go to, I do see us being very elegant. I do see us doing positive works in the community. I do see us holding excellent programs. I do see us speaking well. But at the same time, we do know how to have a fun time. I see us doing the Pat Pat. I see us dancing to Pretty Girl Rock. And these are all things that dominate my experiences as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Okay, it is now 7:59. I would like to thank everyone. I would like to thank all 19 of you that are here for my first YouTube live stream. You are a real one. For being here, you are a real one, and I appreciate you. Michaela Rains, thanks so much for having this live stream. Mr. Murray, thank you. Have a great night. I am going to try to have a good night. As you can hear, because I live in a city, there are sirens. Mr. Murray, I enjoyed this. I'm so glad you did. If you enjoyed this, you can give this video a super in the bottom right hand corner. You could also consider becoming a Patreon member. In my description, I have a link for how to get to my Patreon. You can join for as little as $2 a month and have access to special behind the scenes content that I post about what it is that I'm creating. Sonia Reeves gave me claps. Rochelle McCoy gave me the little heart eyes emoji. Zenobia Frazier, thank you for hosting us tonight. And again, thank all of you for being here with me for my first YouTube live stream. I'm gonna do more of these because this was fun. I liked being able to interact with you. Now, all you gotta do is go tell all your friends that you had a fun time here and tell them that they missed out. That way we can have more people at these YouTube live streams, more questions, more fun. So, thank you very much for being a part of this YouTube live stream. Thank you very, very much for being a part of the history of my channel. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Now, I need to figure out how to end this video. Give me 1 second.